Your brain gets angry at you almost every single day. It criticizes you when you rest instead of working. It makes you nervous before anything has actually gone wrong. It reminds you of awkward moments from years ago. It pushes you to compare yourself with people you barely know. It tells you that you are behind, even when you are trying. And sometimes it feels like your own mind is against you. But your brain is not really trying to destroy your life. It is trying to protect you with tools that are incredibly old. The problem is that those tools were built for another world. Your brain was shaped for survival long before modern life existed. It did not evolve for emails, deadlines, notifications, or social media. It evolved for danger, hunger, rejection, cold nights, and uncertain mornings. Back then, fear was not a weakness. It was useful information. If something seemed dangerous, your brain reacted before you could think. That fast reaction could keep a person alive in a harsh environment. So your brain learned to treat uncertainty like a possible threat. And that old habit still runs quietly in the background today. This is why your brain often reacts before reality proves anything. A message left unanswered can start to feel like rejection. A difficult task can start to feel like a personal failure. A quiet room can suddenly become full of uncomfortable thoughts. Your brain hates empty space because empty space gives it room to predict. And most of its predictions are not peaceful or gentle. Your brain does not ask what is most likely to happen. It asks what would hurt the most if it happened. That is why one small problem can become a giant story. Your brain would rather create a false alarm than miss real danger. From its perspective, overreacting is safer than being surprised. This is where anxiety begins to feel so convincing. Anxiety is your brain trying to prepare for every possible outcome. It scans the future and searches for anything that could go wrong. And it presents those fears as if they are already facts. You are not seeing the future when you feel anxious. You are seeing your brain's emergency simulation of the future. And because the simulation feels real, your body reacts to it. Your heart speeds up, your attention narrows, and your thoughts become louder. The strange part is that nothing dangerous needs to be happening. Your brain can create a full alarm system from pure imagination. That is not because you are weak or dramatic. It is because your brain was designed to take threats seriously. The same old system also explains why shame feels so powerful. When you make a mistake, your brain does not simply move on. It stores the moment like a warning sign for later. It wants you to remember what happened so you avoid repeating it. That is why embarrassing memories can survive for years. Your brain thinks replaying the pain will make you safer. It believes that if you remember the mistake clearly, you will improve. But sometimes the memory stops being useful and becomes a punishment. Instead of teaching you, it keeps dragging you back into the past. You're trying to live today with alarms from yesterday, and your brain keeps acting like those alarms are still urgent. This is also why self-criticism can feel automatic. You miss one goal, and your mind starts building a case against you. You waste an hour, and your brain calls it proof of weakness. You say something awkward, and your brain turns it into an identity. It does not simply say that you made a mistake. It tries to convince you that the mistake says something about who you are. That is one of the cruelest tricks the brain can play. It takes a moment and turns it into a story about your worth. But the story is not always true. Often, it is just fear wearing the mask of honesty. Your brain thinks harsh pressure will force you to become better. It believes that if it scares you enough, you will finally change. But pressure does not always create action. Sometimes pressure creates freezing, avoiding, and hiding. Sometimes your brain's attempt to motivate you becomes the thing that stops you. This is why procrastination is usually misunderstood. Most people think procrastination means you are lazy. But many times, procrastination is your brain avoiding emotional discomfort. The task itself may not be dangerous, but your brain connects the task with effort, uncertainty, and possible failure. So it tries to pull you towards something easier and safer. It offers you scrolling because scrolling gives fast comfort. It offers you food because food gives simple reward. It offers you sleep because sleep lets you escape the pressure. It offers you random distractions because distractions feel less threatening than failure. In that moment, procrastination is not a lack of desire. It is your brain choosing short-term relief over long-term progress. The problem is that relief does not solve the original task. It only delays the discomfort and makes the task feel even heavier later. Then your brain sees the heavier task and becomes even more stressed. So the loop repeats itself again. Avoidance creates guilt, guilt creates pressure, and pressure creates more avoidance. That loop can make a smart person feel completely stuck. But being stuck does not mean you are broken. It means your brain is using protection strategies that no longer fit. Modern life keeps triggering ancient survival systems in strange ways. Deadlines become predators that live on a calendar. Notifications become tiny alarms that follow you everywhere. Social media becomes a comparison machine that never stops moving. A normal mistake becomes evidence in a trial against yourself. A quiet evening becomes an opportunity for your brain to search for problems. Your brain was built to notice danger, not to appreciate peace. So when life becomes calm, your mind may still keep scanning. It searches for unfinished tasks, possible mistakes, and hidden threats. That is why relaxing can sometimes make you feel guilty. Your brain sees rest and asks why you're not preparing for something. It confuses stillness with vulnerability. It confuses comfort with danger. And it confuses self-kindness with losing control. This is why your brain can seem angry when you slow down. It is not angry because rest is wrong. It is alarmed because rest feels unfamiliar to a system trained for survival. The more stressed you are, the more your brain trusts old habits. It becomes louder, faster, and more suspicious. It tries to control everything because control feels safer than uncertainty. But a life controlled by fear becomes smaller over time. You stop resting because resting creates guilt. You stop trusting yourself because your brain keeps collecting evidence against you. And eventually, the protector starts to feel like a prison guard. That is the real problem. Your brain is trying to help, but it is using outdated instructions. It is like an ancient guard dog living inside a modern apartment. It barks at emails, awkward conversations, bills, and future possibilities. It cannot always tell the difference between discomfort and danger. So your job is not to destroy the guard dog. Your job is to train it. The first step is to stop believing every thought immediately. A thought can be loud without being true. A thought can feel urgent without being important. A thought can sound intelligent while still being fear in disguise. When your brain says you are failing, pause before you accept it. When your brain says everyone is judging you, pause before you obey it. When your brain says you must escape discomfort, pause before you run. That pause is small, but it creates space. And in that space, you can choose a different response. The second step is to name what your brain is doing. Instead of saying, I am broken, say this is fear. Instead of saying, I am lazy, say this is avoidance. Instead of saying, I am worthless, say this is shame talking loudly. Naming the pattern separates you from the storm. You're no longer trapped inside every thought. You're watching the system work. And once you can watch it, you can begin to guide it. The third step is to make progress feel safer. Do not ask your brain to love a huge, difficult task immediately. Ask it to accept one small step. Open the document, write one sentence, or clean one corner. Send one message, take one walk, or breathe for 1 minute. Small steps are powerful because they give your brain evidence. They teach your nervous system that discomfort can be survived. You need to show your brain that action is not danger. The fourth step is to stop using hatred as fuel, but it usually burns trust in the process. A brain that feels attacked will not become calm and brave. It will become defensive, tired, and harder to guide. Real discipline is not screaming at yourself until you move. Real discipline is building conditions where movement becomes possible. That means lowering the emotional threat around the task. It means making the first step smaller. It means rewarding effort instead of only judging results. It means treating your brain like something you are training, not something you are fighting. Because every repeated action teaches your brain what is safe. Every time you do the hard thing gently, you send a new signal. Every time you rest without shame, you send a new signal. Every time you face discomfort without running, you send a new signal. And over time, those signals start to rewrite the pattern. Your brain begins to learn that uncertainty is not always danger. It learns that discomfort can be part of growth. It learns that rest does not mean you're falling behind. And it learns that you can be safe without controlling everything. That change does not happen in one dramatic moment. It happens through hundreds of small moments that seem almost boring. A breath before reacting. A mistake accepted without turning it into self-hatred. A quiet evening where you do not search for a new problem. These moments slowly teach your brain a different way to live. So yes, your brain gets angry at you every day. It judges, alarms, predicts, remembers, and overprotects. But behind all that noise is a system trying to keep you safe. It is not evil. It is not your enemy. It is an ancient survival machine trying to understand modern life. And once you see that clearly, the fight changes. You stop asking why your brain hates you. You start asking what your brain is trying to protect you from. That question creates compassion without making excuses. It lets you take responsibility without attacking yourself. And that is where real change begins. Not when you finally defeat your brain, but when you finally learn how to lead it.